this book, published in 2002, predicted the rise of the alt-right. And if anyone saw the interview that I had with Judge Janine right after the Charlottesville, she started that interview off by saying, "Professor Swain, you prophesied 15 years ago about this." And this book was a warning, and it talked about the rise of a new kind of nationalism that was not the KKK or the neo-Nazis, something that I thought would spread. And that was one of the reasons why I felt like it was so important for me to get over my shyness. And that was when I started doing the media interviews, and that's how it all got started. But as far as race relations, things are as bad as you can imagine. And it's not been good for some years. And if you look at the public, in 2014, the survey, Gallup asked people if they worried about race relations. At that time, only 17% of Americans told Gallup they worried about Americans. By March of this year, it was 42%. Now, March of this year, that was before Charlottesville. Can you imagine what the numbers might be now? And when it comes to satisfaction with race, in 2014, 55% of Americans were satisfied, with race relations. Today, in January 2017, it was 17%. And if there's been a steep decline in the percentage of Americans who would say that race relations are good. And when it comes to patriotism, the number of people who are proud to be Americans, that number has declined quite a bit. And so we're ashamed of ourselves as being Americans. We're not getting along when it comes to race relations. And you can see just how it was moving in the wrong direction, and just all the things that have happened, since President Trump's election in 2016. And this is not about President Trump. And so part of what I'm going to say tonight, when I talk about the new white nationalism, is that most people get it wrong. Like, I would say that many people on the political left, and not just the political left, that many people are painting with a broad brush. And so they are labeling, anyone who's conservative, anyone who disagrees with them, anyone who may have voted for Donald Trump as a white supremacist. And it's much more complicated than that. And when I wrote the book, The New White Nationalism in America, I called it the new white nationalism to distinguish it from the old-style white supremacy, the neo-Nazis, and some of the more extreme groups of that era.